Hello and welcome to another daily devotion. As this week, as we start through Lent, we talk about this journey we have with God. No matter who you are or where you are in life's journey, we always say in church, you're welcome here. And it's more than a welcome statement. It's talking about faith as less than a destination. All of our energy is getting to heaven, and more about a daily life journey in trying to figure out how to best follow Jesus in this life and doing the will of God, opening our hearts to Jesus and loving and living like Jesus right here and now. All the afterlife stuff, that's just icing on the cake. That's the gift of God. But we've got work to do here. And I think about the journey specifically of Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch in the book of Acts. Philip's just tooling around in his chariot, and he comes across this guy who's a eunuch, meaning he's been physically castrated. His penis and testicles have been cut off, basically, because he's in charge of the queen, her finances, but also he's going to be in close proximity to her, and we won't want anybody messing with the queen. So, how do you prevent that? You take away any incentive, or a little snip or big snip, whatever it happens to be. And so this guy is as close to I don't know what the specific non-binary, non-gender, trans, asexual person that we have in the New Testament. It tells us that he just came from Jerusalem, from the Temple Mount. But what it doesn't tell us, but what I know to be true, because I saw the sign, the remnants of the sign that's still there, that they've left there, that says, it's on exhibition there, the laws of who can enter the temple and who can't. No foreigner no male who's been cut off, no eunuch, no one with crushed testicles, no one with any deformities. And so this guy spent all this time going to seek God, heard all this wonderful things about the people of God and Jerusalem and the temple. And he wanted to see it with his own eyes, and he gets to the door, kind of like Clark Griswold in Vacation. He gets to Wally World, and the moose says, "You're closed." I say, "You're open." No, he can't get in. He's not good enough, not holy enough, not unblemished enough. And I wonder how many people listening today, in this deep desire to find God, have come across a faith community that says, you can worship here unless you're gay, or unless you're divorced, or unless you have been in prison, unless you're really not able-bodied, unless you're not blind, unless you're not poor or light-skinned, or you fill in the blank. And as Philip meets this man on his journey, and I'm sure he was excited about all he saw in Jerusalem. He felt close. I mean, being in the Holy Land is powerful, even today. But he's reading this book of Isaiah. And Isaiah, just before the part that is listed in Acts, says, "Let no eunuch say, I'm a dried up stump. Let no person who's been deformed or who's unable to have children or who's barren say, I have no identity, I have no family." And God says, "I will give you a family beyond any name that any human earthly child can give you." You say you're depressed, you're struggling because you can't have kids for whatever reason, or because you're different and people have made you to feel like you don't belong, or there's no way God would have anything to do with you. And as he's trying to make sense of this scroll of Isaiah, Philip asks, "What are you reading?" He says, "Well, I'm reading from Isaiah." And he says, "Do you understand what you're reading?" He says, "No, how can I understand it unless somebody tells me? Unless somebody lets me in." And Philip starts to draw alongside this guy and his journey. We all need somebody who will give us the time of day to say, you're the only thing that matters to me right now. Let's talk about God. Let's talk about faith. Let's talk about life. Trying to figure things out, so am I. What are your questions? Let's work on them together. Let's walk together. And as Philip starts to tell him about Jesus, and I imagine, like some of us who are so excited about this relationship with God, it's contagious. And the Ethiopian eunuch right there and then says, there's some water. Can I go get baptized right now? Can I be a part of this? Because all my life I've been told I can't. Philip says, yeah, let's get down to it. I'll baptize you right now. And I just think, and I hope and pray that in the journeys and the crisscross intersections we have with people in our lives, that faith feels like that kind of good news. Can I be a part of that? Yeah. Well, but these folks said no. There's some water right over here. The water's great. Let's jump in. You've been told you can't go in the pool too many times. Our God's bigger than that. This is good news for you and everybody else. No exceptions on the journey.